I'm Kevin Klein, City Councillor for Charleswood, Tuxedo, Westwood, and Chair of the Winnipeg Police Board. I want to bring you inside City Hall once again to discuss an issue that showed up in the news this week about changes to the road construction policy. It's a very complicated subject, but questions have been raised, and I know they've been raised by other members of council about the reason for this, the need for this, and maybe that we need to test it more, because there's talk that it may cost you, the taxpayer, 30% more to have road work done, and we may get less roads completed because of that. That's kind of the Reader's Digest postcard version of this new policy that was enacted here at the City of Winnipeg. Now, I know there will be a lot of councillors that will talk about it, and they'll have their reasons for talking about it, and they'll look at, I think one of the suggestions is doing more pilot projects. I just want to put the brakes on this for a moment, and let's really consider what's happened here. We had a major policy that will impact, has the potential to impact longevity of roads or cost of roads, the number of roads that gets done. This was a big scale policy change. So just coming back and saying, let's do a few more pilot projects. Let's look at this more. I will remind you of the Back Lane Green pilot project that didn't happen properly. There was a pilot project that was supposed to happen on Corydon, I believe, in front of the zoo, and it didn't happen properly. So this will create all kinds of issues, not only for the industry, but for council when it comes to spending, potentially. You know what? I will commend the department and the engineering department for looking at ways to improve our roads or better service you as a taxpayer. That's what we want them to do, right? We want them to find the best way possible. But we know, for example, that roads will last longer if we provide better road maintenance. If you buy a brand new car and you don't do anything to that car except put in gas, you don't wash it, you don't put in oil, you don't have it checked out, you don't change your tires, it's not going to last as long. But if you perform regular maintenance on your car, the life of that car is expanded. I think we need to be looking there first. I think we need to be considering what other jurisdictions do, not as the rule of thumb for us, but let's consider that. Let's look at communities that are similar to our weather, if you will. Let's look to Grand Forks. Let's look to Fargo. Let's have conversations with them. But my biggest problem with this is how it got implemented. This is a huge policy change. Again, great that we're thinking about it. Wonderful that we're having these discussions. But a policy change of this magnitude requires council to discuss it. Council is supposed to be looking at these policy changing, getting outside opinion, and really determining whether or not it's the most effective and efficient way to move forward, not for today, not for the next election, but for 10 or 15 years. We weren't even given that opportunity. How does that happen with a policy that could impact costs by 30%, an increase of 30%? Will it really extend the life of a road? Or should we be looking at using some of the funds to improve our road maintenance? There's a lot of questions that come from this policy change. I think we would like to start at the top. That's what I would like to see happen. And that's what I would do. Okay, tell us what works best. What do you think? Thank you very much for doing that. Now let us do our due diligence before putting a policy of this magnitude in place. That's where we should start. So I don't want to see the city overreact with this or see council go, oh, we need more pilot projects. We spend an awful lot of money on pilot projects before we even get to that point. Why don't we see if there are other ways that we can become more efficient, more cost effective, and improve the longevity of our infrastructure?